Hey y'all, I'm back. So in the last video, I talked about how I got myself out of rock bottom or off of rock bottom, and today I want to talk a little bit about how I got there. So before I get too far into this, this is going to be a little bit of a heavier talk. Um, if you, I'm going to talk a little bit about grief. I'm going to talk about loss. If that's not something you are comfortable with, I understand. You can go ahead and click off now. But I think if I'm going to put myself out there in the world and have myself be known, then I want you to actually know who I am. And if I can explain some of the life experiences I've had, that might shed a little bit of light on my worldview or why I perceive things the way I do. It just helps you get to know me a little bit better. And so it explains a lot, you know. So yeah, if this is too heavy, I understand. Not everybody wants to talk about this sort of thing or hear about this sort of thing. And so just go ahead and click off now. If you want to get to know how I got to rock bottom and you feel like you can handle it and it's not going to bother you, then I invite you to stick around. I want to talk about this because there's a lot of things in life that we can't control, and I know that there's people out there that can relate. And if I can pick myself up over time, there's always hope for someone else. So how did I get to rock bottom? 5 days before I turned 20, I lost my dad to cancer. And I can't really say much about it other than it was medical malpractice. And that changed the course, or, well, I can't say necessarily changed, but it determined the course and trajectory of my life from that point out. Like, I can honestly tell you that most of my choices were embedded within a trauma response. I lost my dad, and it changed everything for me, or determined, it changed my world. I had to learn how to exist in a world where he didn't at a very, very, very young age. And to sum it all up real quick, I didn't deal with it immediately. I ran away. I literally ran away from home. And I was, almost 20, so I was technically an adult. There wasn't much my mom could do. And mentally, I was like gone. I remember thinking, he had been sick for 4 years. So from the time I was 16 to 5 days before I was 20, it was cancer was our reality, and it wasn't fair, and I was angry. And I think that when you have a true panic response to your reality, it's absolutely natural to want to escape or flee, fight, flight, or freeze. In many ways, I did all of those things. I ran away. I tried to fill the void with people and, like a relationship, thinking that would make me happy. And that's not the case. In my experience, misery just loves company. So, it didn't do anything for me except make things worse. Running away, not dealing with the emotions I was going through. I saw a therapist briefly after, right before he passed, or maybe after he passed, but I remember feeling like I wasn't understood. And I also remember feeling very alienated from my peers because a lot of them still had their parents. All of my family members still had their parents. They couldn't relate, and I couldn't relate to them. And I was young still, so over time I became resentful, and it doesn't help you any. That doesn't help you any. When your perspective is negative and down, and when you look through life or look at life through negative lenses, which it's absolutely understandable why someone would do that after they've been through trauma. I cannot fault anybody. At this point now, in my steps of, I don't know, stages of recovery from grief, I can usually identify where someone is in their own stages of grief, because when you experience loss, it affects, everybody reacts differently, but their reactions tell you everything about where they are with coping. So yeah, I lost one of my pillars, what I call a pillar, my people, my foundation. And it rocked my world. And when I say choices are really embedded in a trauma response, and that is the reason I say that is because from the job I have to my philosophy on parenting, I can honestly say it is rooted in my own experience, which had to do with trauma. And it is natural to want to protect, your children from ever experiencing that, or even yourself from ever experiencing that. So, loss like something like that. There wasn't any reaching me. I was gone. Like, I was mentally so far away, and my mom will say it, like, she felt like she lost a daughter when her husband passed. And that hurts, if I'm being honest. But she did, in many ways. A piece of me died. But over time, those holes have been filled, the voids have been filled with healing. It takes a long time, though, and it takes a lot of honesty, and it takes a lot of courage, and most importantly, it takes faith to deal with loss of a person you love, of any kind, whether it's your mom, your dad, your child, best friend, spouse, any of that stuff. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of compassion for yourself to be able to move past that. And I can tell you right now, I'm still dealing with it. Yes, I feel like my dad is with me all the time, and I couldn't, with the suffering that he went through, there's no way I could ask for him to come back, to bring him back, to go through that again. That would be so selfish. But human error was the cause of why I don't have my dad to, be grandpa, or walk me down the aisle if I ever decide to get married, or any of those things. And so I can honestly say I still deal with, grief and resentments, but I'm not at rock bottom. I chose to take that pain and do something with it. My job, be the change you wish to see in the world. So I did that, literally. I have worked with doctors who had direct care, impact on my dad's care. I've worked with doctors that, and they remembered him. It's been wild. Oklahoma's not very big. I've worked with a lot of doctors, so, you know, but that's how I've dealt with healing. And I remember, um, when I first got pregnant, it was not long after my dad had passed away. And I just remember being grateful and looking forward to new life. And that becoming a mother has had a key role in my healing. It has, in many ways, restored my faith. I think through parenting is one of the ways in which I got closer to my creator, and I could understand things so much more through parenting. That's quite an interesting dynamic. I know maybe there's some people out there, but my kids saved me. My kids saved me when I had lost all hope, all faith. My two little girls became my whole entire world. It's the best decision I've ever made, is to become a mother. I would not be where I am in life right now without those two little girls. Kids will drive you nuts. They will drive you absolutely crazy. But will also be the best thing you ever do. And I really hope with the person that I am today that my dad would feel that way too. I do believe that. Sorry, it's a sensitive topic. I'm being very real. But losing a parent, no matter what age you are, it's the same, I think. I mean, yeah, other people have a chance to have other kinds of experiences and have them longer, but when you lose a parent, you become that their child again. And I think everybody who's lost a mom or dad can relate to that. You understand what I'm saying. But yeah, loss will take you to the bottom. And my children and my faith and believing in myself is what got me back out. And I can't say I'm necessarily at the top, because I still deal with stuff. I'm going through. That's the human experience. That's part of the journey. I know that my journey this is part of my journey. So, but I do know that we're all going to experience grief, and we're all going to experience loss, and we're all going to react differently. You never know how you're going to react. If it's loss, if you are at rock bottom because you're dealing with loss of someone that you love yourself like they would love you. I spend a lot of time catfishing because it's something I did with my dad. I am a very independent person because I had to become that way at a young age. And although I, think that those are great things, it wasn't necessarily the most fun way to come about that, So, but it helps you understand a little bit more about me. It's why I'm in healthcare. It's why I do the things I do. It's why I'm extremely protective over my kids and other people. I'm very protective over the people I care about. Very, very protective. I will always be that way. Yeah, I mean, we're all going to go through loss at some point. And it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. But I couldn't get through it. I literally couldn't get through it without faith in my children. So anyway, I know that one was a little bit heavy, but that's how I got to rock bottom. And grief comes in waves. And you have to take it one day at a time. If I can do it, if I can succeed after all of the pain and heartache that I've been through and, loss, I know you can too. And I don't say that just to say that. I say that seriously. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm just another person out here living life. And I encourage you to have compassion for yourself, have some faith in yourself. And again, like I said, love yourself like your loved one would. I appreciate you guys for listening to this one today. This was not an easy one, but it does explain a little bit more, I guess. So it gives you a little more insight into my psychology. And you can kind of understand me, I guess, a little bit better. Understand my perspective. So when I talk about things in future videos, you understand my framework because of my life experience. Kind of like what I talked about with the respect thing. Like, if you don't know where I'm coming from, it's hard to understand. So there you go. That's it. I know this was heavy, but I hope this finds you well. And I've got a great video coming out next that will not be heavy. It will be goofy as all get out. And I've been working on it and working on the writing on it. I'm really excited about it. And I may or may not have another surprise that I'm going to be talking about in either a short video, and for sure my next video. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that. What else? I appreciate you guys. Thanks for listening. Again, if you find yourself relating to what I just said, know my heart is with you. Something I still deal with. Like I said, grief comes in waves. Loss isn't easy. And my heart is with you if you're on that journey too. So now that you know how I got to rock bottom and how I got out of it, my next Let's Talk is going to be about something completely different. And probably something that's more like thinky thoughty. And when I say thinky thoughty, I mean like kind of far out, like an idea talk sort of thing. Not a TEDx, not like welcome to my TED Talk, but something cool. So I appreciate you guys watching. Until next time, toodles y'all.